Good morning, students. So the UGC NET exam is over now. It was happened in the morning, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It was the time, and many students came out of the examination with a lot of hopes, with a lot of disappointments, just caused by paper one. Yes, paper one was very difficult for this UGC NET examination, particularly for English literature student. Paper one was very difficult. I received a lot of messages. I'm still receiving a lot of messages that paper one was very difficult. And DI was tough. Then reading comprehension was easy. Reading comprehension of paper 1 was easier than paper 2. Okay, paper 2 reading comprehension was also all right, but paper 1 reading comprehension was easy, but data interpretation was very challenging. And when we talk about questions from Indian aestheticism, bhavna, and all those questions, Indian aestheticism that goes in paper 1, that was also difficult to solve. Around 3 to 5 questions you found in Indian aestheticism in paper 1. And while talking about other questions, like there were questions like when Punjab University was established, like what was the reason behind establishing the Punjab University, whether it was to reduce the burden of Bombay University, Calcutta University. There were options like Himachal Pradesh University. So there were questions, and many students do not know the answer of. Even if I was sitting in the examination, I also was going to do the guesswork in these sort of questions, and a lot of assertion reason questions were there. And we also know that in assertion and reason questions, we never come to know about the right answer, what is the right answer. Even though we have the actual answer key in front of us, we will not be able to figure out how these assertion and reason questions are, you can say, organized in the paper one. So you can say that overall paper one was difficult, and a lot of questions were out of syllabus, you can say so, and it is not expected from a literature student to understand, to remember all these sort of factual information. But yes, again, it is always good that you score more than 30 questions in paper one. But here, if you are scoring like 25 questions, 27 questions, or 29 questions, more than 25 questions here also will be good score for you if you have scored that much in paper one. So our practice is always like we have to do more than 30 questions, right? But here the exam was tough, so we are expecting that 25 questions, 27 questions is also a good score here. So do not worry, the cutoff can be less just because of paper one. But on the other hand, we can see that English literature exam was easy. There were a lot of questions from British literature theory, and yes, quite surprisingly this time we don't have any question from literary criticism. That is quite surprising from that I learned from the students. But yes, there were questions from British literature theory. Again, that chronology of Charles Dickens. Don't know how many times they have asked this chronology of Charles Dickens in the last 5 years or 6 years. Every time they are asking the chronology of Charles Dickens. And then questions from P.V. Shelley, John Keats. Or to psych question was there. Okay, so John Keats. And then persuasion, which of the characters are not there in the novel Persuasion. And again, literary movements, we have already created the playlist of literary movements on YouTube, so you found the questions from literary movements also. Transcendentalism, and then there were questions from university wits, which of the characters, which of the writers are not associated with university wits. There were two magazines, so everything was as expected. Okay, so the topics were as expected. Just I have told you that previous year questions rules everything. Okay, so previous year questions are everything. You found the topics in the question paper that were asked in the previous year questions. Okay, so topics were there, the questions were a little twisted, but again, it was not so much difficult if we compare it with the paper one. All right, again, I want you to note here is that now they are not only asking the chronology from British literature, but also they are asking the chronology from Indian literature. And yes, of course, in the last two exams also we have seen like 3 to 4 times they have asked the chronology of Indian literature. So maybe in the next examination, Indian literature, again, American literature, literary theory, chronology, full of chronological periods were there to understand whether students have the knowledge of all the periods in an organized way or not. Again, there were questions from, as expected, literary devices. There were questions from, you can say, Pidgin, Creole. These little terms, these little concepts were there that as a literature student you must know. All right, so we will be discussing all about the cutoff and everything else in the upcoming videos. How was your exam and what do you think about this examination? Do let me know your views in the comment section below. I will try to reply each and every comment of yours. All the very best. Thank you. That's it for this.